How do you make a good car better? Well, some would immediately say you've got to make it faster. Others would say you've got to make it louder. A fruity exhaust to lift the whole experience. Ford, it prefers to focus on the basics. Meet the Focus ST Edition. The Focus ST Edition is Ford's go at making the standard Focus ST that little bit better to drive. To do that, it has put the wheels, springs and dampers under the microscope. The wheels are new flow-formed 19 inches that reduce unsprung mass by 10% at each corner. Like the standard car, the wheels are shod in Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tyres. As for the suspension, there are adjustable coilovers from KW Automotive. On top of that, there are some design tweaks to help the car stand out from the regular ST crowd, like the vivid azure blue paint and the black roof and grille. As for the engine, that is exactly the same. A 2.3 litre turbocharged 4-cylinder with 280 horsepower at 5,500 RPM and 420 Nm of torque from 3,000 to 4,000 RPM. But that is no bad thing because it is a fun little engine. 0 to 62, that takes 5.7 seconds, and the top speed is 155 miles an hour. The brakes, they're the same again. 330mm discs up front, 302mm discs at the back. The gearbox, that's the same too, 6-speed manual. The electronic limited slip differential, well, that's the same as well. This car really is just about those new wheels and that very juicy suspension. But that's okay. In most performance cars that come direct from the factory, we're spoiled, frankly, with clever dampers that have iron filings in them that get firmer or softer depending on what drive mode you're in. In others, you get air springs. In both cases, all you have to do is press a button. Changing how the car feels requires very little thought. Here, the coilovers bring with them a world of possibilities, and to get to them, you need to head to the boot. Open it, and tucked away in here is this little box. Open it, and behold, some information and some tools. Instead of a button on the dash to change how the suspension feels, Ford provides you with an adjustment wheel and a rather sinister looking tool. The other tool is there so you can adjust the ride height. The ST Edition sits 10mm lower than a standard ST, with 20mm of adjustment available to you. The wheel, combined with another one on the damper itself, adjusts how the dampers behave when you hit a bump, known simply as bump, and how they behave after that when the wheel is on its way back down to where it started, the rebound. What that means is you have to know how to set the car up. You have to think, and you get some help. In this little booklet, Ford tells you not just how to make the changes, because there are 12 settings for bump and 16 settings for rebound, but how those will change the behaviour of the car. So it talks about understeer and oversteer, and then it's got information on how you can do certain setups for certain types of roads. You've got bumpy B roads, you've got a standard setup, you've got a comfort setup, and then you've got one for the Nürburgring and one for Grand Prix tracks. And then there's information on tyre pressures if you're doing a track day, so you can dial in understeer or dial out oversteer or make the transition from grip to no grip that little bit more gentle. It's really nerdy, but I love it. I know coilovers are nothing new, but for them to come as standard on a performance car is really refreshing, because you have to learn, you have to understand. And as an ownership proposition for a new performance car, that's really engaging. How does the ST Edition feel? Well, the brakes, they are the same and they feel the same. Very, very strong. You've got a nice pedal feel. The brake pedal is perhaps a little bit too high for everyday use. It's when your foot is all the way down to the brakes that heel and toe is particularly easy, but just sometimes stop-start traffic is a bit too high for my liking. But that's a minor criticism. They are very good. You've got the same drive modes. You've got normal, sport, track and then a slippery mode when it's wet or if it's snowed. The gearbox, 6-speed manual, it's good. Not great, it's a little bit spongy in places, but still good. What has changed is because you've got lighter wheels, the steering on a Focus ST was already very quick, very direct, but it's even more so now. And the whole car just feels more up on its toes, more alert, more ready to go. The electronic limited slip differential is super clever too, because it can send up to 100% of the engine's power to just one front wheel. Sometimes it just finds grip where you think, that's not going to be able to. It's not quite the same clawing at the road feeling that you can get with some more old school mechanical limited slip diffs, but it's still mighty impressive. All in all, is it worth buying a Focus ST Edition over a standard Focus ST? Well, if you're not going to tweak the suspension yourself, then no, absolutely not. Stick with a standard Focus ST because you'd just be wasting your money. But if it does appeal, you've got to go for it because it offers a new dimension to the ownership experience you don't find in most other factory performance cars. It's satisfying, it's different.